so thrilled that you just brought my sparkling wine on, because this is a really special project for me. It took me 10 years to make it. I made it in tribute to my late mother. She never got to see the finished product, but she got to taste it along the way and gave me thumbs up, so I was encouraged by that. So the thing about sparkling wine, I'm going to go ahead and pour. A lot of people don't know, but the local region, the Santa Cruz Mountains, has a really long history of sparkling wine. And names like Paul Masson and Martin Ray, specifically Paul Masson, his whole reason for being in Saratoga was to make sparkling wine. And he chose that location on the mountains. That's where the mountain winery is now, because it was cooler than the parts of Santa Clara Valley that they were growing grapes in at the time. I think it started in the late 1800s. And if you've ever been to a concert there or read anything about Paul Masson, it was real clones of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay from France, and it was one of California's very first sparkling wines. So mine is made from all Santa Cruz Mountain grapes. There's about 6 or 8 different vineyards, maybe 6. And this one is 65% Chardonnay, 35% Pinot Noir, and it's non-vintage, so I call it non-vintage brut. Many of you already know this, but in Champagne and in Port are the only 2 regions in the world where non-vintage wines are given every bit of respect that vintage wines are. And the goal there is that small amounts of older wine are blended into the main batch to give it just a tiny bit of richness. So this is mostly 2001 with a little 2000 vintage blended into it. I wanted it to be really vibrant and tart. It's probably tarter than most sparkling wines. The Pinot Noir is just in the background, just to give it enough richness to make it. This took 10 years to make, so I think all really great sparkling wine from Champagne, for me, it gets serious at about when it's 10 years old. And a lot of people don't know that it actually doesn't age on the cork during that time. It ages en tirage on the side with a beer cap on the bottle. Yeah, and it only gets packaged and marketed when it's needed, when the market needs it. I could make 50 cases and then I could wait, and then I could make 50 cases more, and the back inventory stays en tirage, it's called.
Is it bottled though with the beer cap on top?
Yes, it has been in that bottle for 10 years. Yeah, okay. But it's got this beer cap. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the cork. I wanted to show off a little bit. Obviously this, I got to tell you, at this price I'm losing money, but it adds to my mom's name, so I'm willing to go forward. But it's very expensive to make sparkling wine, and one of the reasons is that you have to wait that long. You have to sit on your money that long. And you all know from being in business, there's what's called cost of money, or the opportunity cost of your money. So basically 100%. If you spend money 10 years ago, you better be getting 100% over 10 years more. So it's very expensive. But I also wanted to show off, and one of the things we're doing, I don't believe any other winery is doing in the whole world, even Dom Perignon and Krug, we're using a solid piece of real cork. Okay? They all have composite cork with these little wafers on the end. You can take a look at it. So this is just mostly showing off, but it's also very expensive for me. It was like $3 per cork. So that's one of the reasons why there's no foil over the neck. We really wanted to show that off. So in terms of, I'm not a foodie, please forgive me, but what I really like with this austere, bright style of sparkling wine is some raw fish or some brie, something with a lot of fat in it. It needs that. It really will come to life in your mouth if it has that counterbalance of something very fatty. By itself, I'll tell you, a couple, 3 sips into it, my mouth is starting to go, wow. And if you have the food to counterbalance that, it stays more alive all the way through. Any questions about this one? She was my mom. She was the founder. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And she passed a couple years ago. I have my dad's name. Interesting story about my mom is my folks split when I was a little boy, when I was 6, 1965. My mother was part of women's liberation, and really she went back to her maiden name. But the reason I'm bringing it up is that her Irish heritage and this experience made her a very strong, independent woman. And so she founded the winery not only on her own, but with an approach that she was going to aim for the top and that no one was going to tell her otherwise. And so one of the reasons her name is the brand is that she would say things to me like, if Paul Masson and Martin Ray and David Bruce can name wines after themselves, then I can do that too. And so that strength and that determination really is what she left me. In specific, what I mean to say is that we're going to taste a estate cab. Really, this was her vision. One Cabernet, 100%. And I learned to make this for about 15 years before I made anything else. We never ever looked at the cost of production. It was never a decision of we'll choose this bottle over that bottle based on cost. It was always what is the best for the wine, and she gave me that really strong commitment to go for the top. And you know, I make other wines now with different prices and stuff where we do have to watch costs, and we do choose different paths because of that, but she left me this really strong commitment. And I'll be honest, it's been a great legacy. She not only having a woman's name, but establishing ourselves as a top wine first and then doing these other things. So.